Hey guys, Miss Hooks. All right, this week's project can get a little intense, so make sure you are especially watching all of the instructional videos for this because we are doing 1-point perspective and 2-point perspective, and we're going to use these to be able to draw your own cities. Now, this is a lot of line tracing. Some people that are really analytical and technical do super well with this. Other people sometimes struggle with it. I still sometimes struggle with it, and I've been doing it for a really long time. Today, we're going to start with 1-point perspective. So make sure you follow the steps with me, or I have a really good YouTube artist that I linked his videos to you guys in the folder. He is also a really good step-by-step one, and you guys can pause and stop these videos to follow along as you go. So for 1-point perspective, we're going to start with a horizon line. You will need a straight edge for this. I have a ruler. If you don't have a ruler, that's not a big deal. You can use your ID badge, you can use a book, you can use another piece of paper. As long as you have a straight line that you can trace, you're fine. This is going to be called your horizon line. It's going to be the middle, and you're going to trace a line through your paper. Next, you need a vanishing point, which is just a dot in the middle of your paper. Mine is kind of big and thick so that you guys can see it on camera. You are going to be tracing things back to that dot, so you need to make sure that you have it. So now we're going to start with basic shapes. Draw a square anywhere on your paper. Next is where we start to get into the actual 1-point perspective part. You are going to trace all of the corners of your square back to the dot. So line up your ruler with the dot and a corner and trace it back. Line up the next corner, trace it back. Line up another corner, trace it back. This corner you can trace, but notice how it goes through the middle of the square. The point is you don't want your square to be see-through. So you are going to ultimately erase this line so that it doesn't cut through the square. So now you should have this weird little spotlight looking shape. Next, we're going to cut off and make the bottom part of the square. To do that, you're going to copy these lines that are in between. So if you want the bottom down here to mimic here, you can line your ruler up with the edge, slide it down to where you want it to be, and draw a line. Notice I only kept it between these two lines. That's because this line is between these two lines, this line is between these two lines. These are called orthogonal lines. So this one goes left and right. That means the bottom, when I cut it off, is also going to be left and right. So see, this box is an L shape right here. That means the bottom also has to be an L shape. You're just copying what you already did. Then erase those lines between the dot and your box, and you have a box that looks like it's going off into space. What if you want to do a shape that's not a square or a rectangle? Because those are relatively easy. Let's try something like a circle. Instead of being able to trace the corners back like I did with the square, you're going to line up the edge of your ruler or your straight edge with the dot and swing it in until it touches the edge of the circle. Then trace your line back to the dot. Same on the other side. Line it up with the dot, swing it in until it touches the edge of your circle, and trace it back to the dot. So now it kind of looks like a little spotlight again. Now remember last time, this is a little L shape, and we copied the L shape on the bottom. This is a curved shape. So on the bottom, we're going to copy the curve shape. Then we erase the lines that go back to the dot. And you now have another shape.